Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. I am your host, Demetrius Woods, and today, because of your overwhelming response to last week's show with the trio of Asia, Logan, and Casey, we're going to talk all about confidence today and how to build that up in other people. So without further ado, let's get it started. All right, guys, welcome once again to the show. So I'm going to jump right into our topic on confidence today. First of all, thank you so much for this week more than any other has been tremendous in terms of your response about a very specific topic from the previous week's show. And so I will say that the topic on confidence, that's what it's going to be about today. A lot of you heard a little bit of Asia's story and you wanted to hear more about how that dynamic between she and I has worked out. So what I did was I took a little bit of time and just thought through a few things that I could share with you all on maybe tactics, I guess, that would work in helping other people build their confidence. So this isn't much about like you building your own confidence. This is more about you building someone else's. But in turn, some of the practices could really help you out as well. So I'm really excited to delve into these, and so I'll give you a few of them first before the break, and we'll take a really quick break and we'll come right back. So the first one though is to be genuine. So when in terms of helping other people build themselves up, right? And I'm guessing I'm going to use Asia really as our example because of just the way that she spoke on that last week, as far as her self confidence, where she used to be and where she is now. And she's still got some growing to do in that department, and she knows that for certain. But also she's come a really really long way. Yes, I will admit, probably in part because of me, and she's admitted that, but a lot of it is because of the people that all of us that she's surrounded herself with, which I think that's a big deal. I've mentioned that before of surrounding yourself with a really good circle, but I think in order to be in anyone's circle, you've got to be genuine. I think it's important to let them know that you are authentic, and so sometimes that's giving them tough love when they need it. Sometimes that's putting your arm around their shoulders when they need it as well, and then anything in between that may come with that. I think giving the compliments when they need to be given, and giving the critique as well. I don't want to say ostracize; that's not the word, but giving the critique as well, I think is important. But as long as it comes from a good place, I feel like it can be received in such a way that can help that person really build themselves up. And talking about Asia, I mean, I love the way it brings a smile on my face just thinking about her because I love the way that she approached the game this year. I wish I would have gotten more than a year with her to be her coach because she was a constant light, a constant positive point for our entire team, despite where her confidence may or may not have been at the time. And I think that's a big deal. So, again, number one, be genuine, offer genuine praise to people as as they're going throughout their journey of gaining more confidence. The second one there, and maybe this isn't you setting these, but this is you helping this person. But I believe it's important to set some realistic goals, and and talking to not just Asia, but even other players, setting some attainable goals. Maybe it's a goal that has to do with the entire span of a year. If it's on the ball field or a life goal or whatever. And so you take that goal and you break it down into smaller increments so that they're more attainable, right? I know for me as a business person, like I look at things on a 90-day scale, right? I take things quarter by quarter, and I really measure my success in an every 90-day type of a stretch. And so if you looked at that from the perspective of your performance on the ball field, and trying to increase your level of play that way, maybe you're looking at things from every 2 or 3 tournaments or so, or if you're in like a condensed school ball season, like most of our ladies are here in Georgia right now, maybe you're looking at things from week to week. So either way, you take a whole season, you break it down, you set some realistic goals, you begin to chomp away at that a little bit, and see what happens from there. So I think helping them do that. So I think if you're in a role or if you're in a position of authority, really, I guess. So if you're a coach mom, dad, big sister, big brother, whatever, if you're in that kind of a role, then I think it's important that you sit down with that person and help them with those goals. And even if you're not in that role, if you're just a really good friend or a good teammate and you feel comfortable, brainstorming, visioning that type of thing, then I think it's a really good thing to do for that person so that they can see, okay, not only is this person taking an interest in me and helping me build this up, but I think that naturally helps them build confidence that, oh wait, someone is taking some attention for me and they're taking some time away from something that they could be doing, right, by helping me goal set. So that's number two. Number three, encouraging the self talk, right, and specifically the positive self talk. I said this last week to Asia directly, like that was one of the things I realized almost immediately about her is that her self talk was not where it needed to be in order for her to be the best that she could be on the ball field. And then I started to realize, okay, that this is not just a ball field thing. Like as a whole, I think it's good for the whole person, right? And so when it comes to doing that, I thought about one of the ways that I would do that strategically. And I guess it wasn't, I say strategically, I mean, maybe it was just me being me in terms of just wanting to help somebody, but I would encourage them to think about their successes, right? Thinking about not just the future success, but what they've already done. Okay, because I know a lot of times in sports, it's kind of the mentality of, hey, what have you done for me lately? What's in it for me right now? Right? History is history. Bygones are bygones. However, when someone is struggling in their confidence and they need that reassurance that they've had some success, it's important to pull on that, give them a history lesson of, hey, yo, you're good. Like you've done this, you've done that, you've had success here, right? Don't forget about those positive moments that you've had throughout your career. Now it's time to continue pushing the ball forward so that you can continue to have more success down the road. So either way though, the self-talk, the positive self-talk at the end of the day is the one, to me, it's one of the most critical pieces to helping someone build up their self-esteem and ultimately living up to the self-confidence that you want to see them have. All right. Number four, I put here be a good listener, which is kind of interesting. God's timing is crazy because, like I said, this has been a wild week from you guys of just the outpour of, hey, I want to hear more about that. But also, I was able to have lunch uh, today actually with a former player, a couple of former players, and we were having a conversation about just life and being able to do more with what you have and be okay moving on from what once was, right? And we talked a little bit today about me. I'm kind of a doer. I'm a fixer type person, and sometimes just simply listening is all that a person needs. And so it's important that if you're in a position where you're trying to help somebody with their confidence, you got to pick your spots of when to listen and when to be a fixer and help them, you know, be what they need to be for themselves, for their future self, even. Right. So listening, opening your ears, and then responding after you've kind of heard their full story or heard their full bit versus already thinking about a response before they're even done with what they have to say because you really haven't listened totally to what they have on that front. So I would say that. And then the fifth one here before we take a quick break here is to also not only just encouraging good positive self-talk, but I feel like it's good to encourage good other overall habits, right? Exercising well, eating right, having good mental, all of those things are critical to your overall well-being, right? So if you're feeling good about the way your body looks, or if you're feeling good about your health, you know what I mean? If you're feeling good about just your mental game or whatever it may be, then a lot of times what that can do is that they can bleed off in a good way into the other aspects of your life. Whatever you may be struggling in confidence wise, you can be able to really tug on to the good feels that you may have from another piece of it. So encourage that in that person as well. Real quick though, I'm gonna pivot for 2 seconds because another thing that you guys also mentioned was the Olympics, right? And two of you in particular, Sean and I think it was Marta, I believe was the name that came across. Anyway, Sean and Marta, I believe, both of you guys mentioned the Olympics, and you talked about, asked me rather about discussing their level of confidence. How do you see that playing out on the grandest of stages? And so, before we take a quick break, I want to point out something real fast because when you look at athletes on the Olympic scale, whether you're rooting for Team USA or you're rooting for your home country or whoever it may be, regardless of who you're rooting for, I hope that you've noticed that as you watch, those of you who are watching the Olympics, you notice the poise, you notice the patience, you notice the literal self confidence, right? Although there may be nerves and jitters and all of that on the inside, you see that so clearly, right? But what I really, really want to point out, which is back to my very first mini point at the beginning of this set, is when somebody wins a medal, when somebody medals in a race or whatever they may be competing in, what is one of the first things that they do? They look to their people, right? They find their people in the crowd, and either if there's an opportunity to go give them a hug or embrace and show some physical love there, or maybe it's just some eye contact or whatever the case may be. But a lot of times they find their people. And so again, guys, I can't stress this enough in terms of overall life, but really in the grand scheme of things, from a confidence standpoint, find your people, and your people again are the people who love and trust and care about you, and that's reciprocated on the other end too. So again, find your people, and really lean into them, and be able to hold them when they need to be held too. I think it's a two-way street with your people. But anyway, that's I'm gonna pause real quick there on the self-confidence piece with the first 4 or 5, and then I'm going to come right back here, give you my last 5, wrap up the show with a thought you should know moment, and we'll get you right out of here, guys. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I'm going to give you these last 5 tips here on self confidence and building it up into somebody else, and then we're going to get you right out of here. So, number 6 on the list, and this is one that I really want to be very, very clear about because I don't want to make it sound like what it is not. Okay, and so what I wrote down here was to challenge their belief system. Okay, and what I mean by that really is on the negative side of things. Okay, so challenge their negative beliefs, not their positive beliefs or whatever. But this is something that I think is important because naturally, people that are not having the highest level of self confidence, they question everything. Anything good that happens, it's like it's automatically in question, right? Well, why not help them question the validity of the negatives? Okay, anything negative that may be going through their mind, or that they may perceive to believe, right? Challenge that immediately, and give them an opportunity to find the good in every situation that they may be in, right? Because granted, every situation isn't a good one or a great one or whatever. However, there are certain things or certain perspectives and vantage points that we can look at for something specific there and then be able to expound upon that. So that's number 6. Number 7 is to be a model. Okay. And I think that there's nothing like, walking the walk, right? You can talk about it, but you also got to be about it. And I feel like being a model, confident person is a great way for somebody else to learn how to be confident. I know for me, as a coach, I try to instill as much confidence into my ladies as I possibly can. But also as a coach, I walk pretty confidently, right? Although I'm very humble, right? I have an incredible amount of humility. I always joke that I'm cocky about being humble, but when I walk on the field, right, I trust the players. I trust the preparation that we have collectively put into this, and therefore I hopefully I exude that confidence into them, right? But again, whether you're a coach, a teammate, mom, dad, whatever, umpire, whomever, whatever role you may be playing around the game of softball or baseball, you want to be able to model the appropriate confidence that you're trying to help somebody else obtain, right? Because I think that people really do learn by observing other folks. So I think that's important. All right. The next one here is a big one as well. Actually, all of these are big, but this one's big too because I think it's good for somebody that is struggling with their confidence to take more risks than they do, because what happens is that you've got somebody that's really confident and then maybe they lose their confidence a touch, and when they lose it they naturally stop taking risks because they're trying to get some victories that don't require a lot of risk, if you will, right? And so taking more risk is important because if you do that, all right, and fail, the lessons from the experience itself can be very, very valuable. And that's why I think it's important, because if you don't ever take the risk, or if you stop taking those risks, then you stop learning those lessons that those tough experiences may teach you. Now, if you succeed, it feels really, really good. Like there's a big piece on that front. But again, take those risks, be willing to go after something big and fall short, and be okay with the experience that taught you, and learn from it, grow from it, and then try it again, right? And get better and grow that way. Number nine, and this is really kind of a combo with it with another one, so I guess this doesn't really count. But number nine from my list here was to give some constructive feedback, and I wrote this one down because again, when you're criticizing someone, it's important that you have a good, healthy balance of positive feedback too, right? Like I try to give one criticism for every two positive comments, right? But if all you've got to say is criticism, then I guess that's what it is. But it's important. Your delivery matters, right? The way that it comes across matters. And I think that if someone has built up enough trust in you to listen and internalize your criticism, then I think it's important that you guard that, right? You respect that trust that they have given you. You respect the voice that you have in their life. Whether again from an athletic standpoint or life standpoint or whatever the case may be, but make sure that there's a healthy balance on that front. Okay. So the last one that I have for you guys here is to praise the effort, not just the outcome. Okay. And that is mission critical at the end of the day, because what you want to do right there, as you're instilling confidence in somebody else, their effort, if you make sure that their effort matters more to you than just the outcome, that completely changes the script for them. And for me, I know that Asia specifically was one that I wanted to make sure that she understood that if she struck out, she booted a ball, whatever, I still had her back, right? I still had her back. I still believe in her, right? Nothing changes on that front. Although maybe we got to work on some things, we got to tweak some things, but I got you. I'm here to help you do that, right? And I think that's the big piece, is that nothing can beat praising the effort of somebody else while also letting them know I've got your back, I'm available, I'm here for you, and we can help you grow, right? I think that really encourages the growth mindset, and that also provides a level of persistency from them that, hey, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep trucking along, because as long as I continue giving my maximum effort while also provided with the training and whatnot that comes behind it, I'll finally get to where I need to be, right, or where I want to be. So anyway, guys, I hope that that resonates with you a little bit. I really do, because I believe strongly that there are many, many ways beyond just these 10 that I've listed out here. There are many ways for us to help build up other people in their confidence, and some people are so good at hiding their lack of confidence, to where you've got to just kind of maybe read between the lines, or listen to their words or listen to their actions or whatever, because it's important, right? That everybody is elevating everybody. So, with that being said, that's going to lead me to my thought you should know moment. And it's very, very simple, as it always is. And that is to do something nice for yourself this week. All right. As much as I just talked about doing for somebody else, and I believe in that wholeheartedly. I live by that principle of doing for others. However, take time for you. Go do something nice for yourself, even if it's just grabbing some ice cream or whatever that niceness looks like. Go do it for you, and make sure that you continue to put yourself first in some cases too, because those of us who are always going out helping other people, you want to make sure that you fill your cup back up as well, so that you still have more to go give the other folks. So with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap this show up like we always do. So please let everything you do be done in love, because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes the world go around. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in to the Diamond Discussion, and we'll catch you next week.